In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. This was the most interesting part when I first read this book recently. I was like, all my life, I've been trained to think that the first half of the day starts in the morning and the evening is the second half of the day. How wrong I was, and the people who taught me, because the evening is the first half of the day. Like, according to the creation story, it kind of makes sense, because he created the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the surface of the earth. So darkness was in existence before there was light. There was darkness upon the surface of the earth before there was light. That simply makes evening the first half of the day, and morning the second half of the day. And it's kind of interesting how things have changed. I don't know who is responsible for changing things and time, because how comes we start counting the day from midnight? And even in an African setting, like the world clock, the clock we use right now, doesn't make sense to an African person or an African child, like, especially for someone like me who lives along the equatorial areas. I live in Uganda. I don't even live in central Uganda. I live in northern Uganda, West Nile sub-region. And the time for us, like, whatever happens during the course of the day, the sun is still going to pass over us. Whatever happens, it rains, what style, I don't care. The sun is still going to pass over us. So the kind of timing we use right now, like the clock our children are taught in school, doesn't make sense. These are some of the reasons why when these children when they start teaching them the clock and the timing and time and so on, they can't perform well in school, because you're waking up your child in the morning and telling them it's Salu Fivo, get up and go to school. Salu in the morning is 1 in the morning. So in English it's 7 a.m. in the morning, but in every local language I know in Uganda, it's 1 in the morning. And so your kid goes to school. At home you're telling them it's 1 in the morning. At school they are telling them it's 7 a.m. It's 7 in the morning, and it's confusing them. I have a little cousin I've been living with, and she fails time and reading the clock so badly. I understand it because I went through the same thing. It didn't make sense to me that at home I use a different time and at school I have to use a different time, knowing very well that the time I use at home, I understand it so well. So someone should come up with a time for us. Someone should come up with at least maybe even an app we could use as a time for us, but we should particularly have a different time for us, because 7 is midday for us. Saziri is midday for us. So these things are very conflicting theories we are having to bring up children in, and if we are really going to help our kids understand things better and like make education relatable, it has to be a part of our living. It has to be a part of us. It has to be something we kind of agree with, something that doesn't confuse us. That is why our children suffer. Africa as a continent, even Uganda as a country, has come so far. I believe I believe every country should be able to make a clock for themselves. Like, let them go and understand these things. Like, let them go and get experience with other clocks wherever they go. If they go to Europe, if they go to whatever country they go to and it's different there, yes, that's how they're going to understand it. It should be different there, but it can't be the same thing everywhere. And yet we know right now where you are, it is different. Why are we still stuck on that clock? Why are we still stuck at 7 a.m. being 1 in the morning being 7 a.m.? As Africans, why are we still stuck there? As Ugandans, there is no day the sun is going to rise at midnight in Uganda. There is no day the sun is going to set at 4 p.m. in the night. The sun sets between, so locally the sun will set between 12:45, meaning 6:45, and 1:10, meaning 10 minutes past 7, and the sun will rise within the same range of time, like every day, year in, year out, for a Ugandan. And so the day the sun will rise at midnight, trust me, we are going to pray, we are going to run mad, we are going to, I remember my grandfather telling me a story of how an eclipse happened when he was still young, and at noon he had gone to change the goats that were grazing. No, he had gone to take the goats to the water to drink some water. And it started to get dark, and he ran so badly. He was so scared for his life. He ran home. That was not natural to him. And the day this happens in Uganda and it suddenly gets dark at night without, like the sun suddenly disappears without warning. I'm telling you, even with warning, it will be so terrible for us. So at least the eclipse, we have come to study about the eclipse and know these things happen and so on, but we don't have midnight suns. And we don't have, our time doesn't change in the middle of the night. In any case, our day begins in the morning, and for some reason we have been told to begin our day at midnight, and we have actually accepted it and gone with the flow. But we need to really work things our way and bring back the day to begin in the morning. At least maybe shift it in the evening, because and the evening and the morning were the first day. So we come to learn from Genesis chapter 1 that the evening was the first half of the day and the morning was the second half of the day, the beginning of the second half of the day. So a day is supposed to begin in the evening, and the second half of the day is supposed to be in the morning. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So as I was reading these chapters, these verses, I was intrigued to go and look and find out what a firmament is. So the firmament is first mentioned in the Bible in the chapter of the book of Genesis. The firmament is a ceiling or a dome-like vault stretching out to form a solid canopy over the earth, separating the heavens above from the earth below. Sometimes the firmament is called heaven in the Bible. And this has taken me back to my childhood. I perfectly remember as a child seeing these pictures of how the earth looked like. I remember seeing these descriptions. This shows that things have been changed for someone, or some people have been intentionally changing things over time, and our reality could not be the same as it was before. It's hard to find the reality now. I remember as a child, these pictures were in a lot of books, in a lot of textbooks, in a lot of Bibles that showed how the earth looked like, the firmament. I didn't really know what the firmament was then when I was young, but these pictures were there. These are pictures I'm familiar with. These are things that have actually taken me back to my childhood, and I can recognize them as an adult right now. I'm over 30. And I do recognize these pictures and really know that I saw them as I was younger. According to these pictures, we are living in earth. We are not living on earth. This also brings me to the question, like, has anyone really ever left the earth? If this is how the earth looks like, and all the stars and all the things people say they explore and go out into space to explore, if all these things are within the dome, who has left the earth? Are we still exploring within the earth and saying we have gone out of space and so on? Like, no one has gone beyond the firmament. We are still within the firmament. The stars, the sun, the moon, everything are still within the firmament. These pictures prove it. Like, no one has really left the earth. Science is always going to want to give us its own definitions. In biblical cosmology, the firmament is the vast solid dome created by God during the Genesis creation narrative to divide the primal sea into upper and lower portions so that the dry land could appear. So in this definition, they're even calling it the creation narrative, like the guy who the person who God created these things, and like they say that is his narrative. We are still going to go out there and look around and find another narrative to explain to you, to give you a different narrative, so you have a number of narratives to choose from. I think that's what they do. That's how they want to mess with us. I didn't even really know that there was a firmament, that there was waters above us. Wow. These pictures are detailed. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together upon one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. He went ahead and made this order for the waters to gather in one place to create the earth, to create dry land where we can live on. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass." So this was after creating the dry land. Now he's creating nature. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. So on the third day, he went ahead and created and separated the waters and brought forth land and created vegetation on the land, all the herbs and the trees and everything. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the trees yielding fruit, which seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And evening and morning were the third day. Guys, for today we are going to stop on the third day, and the next time I come around we shall continue with the fourth day. The reason I've started to do all this is because I needed to reset myself. I needed to heal myself, my mind, body and soul. I need to heal my spirit too. I need to develop a personal relationship with God in order to be able to heal myself. So I decided to have this whole reset. I decided to have to go back to the original settings. Like a phone, you'd put a phone back to factory settings. As a human, I've decided to go back to original human settings, and for me to do that I need to develop a personal understanding with God, a personal relationship with God. That's why I've come forth and started reading the Bible, and I want to understand the Bible in my own way, in a way that is going to empower me, that is going to help me create this personal relationship with the Lord, that is going to give me knowledge to heal myself, my body and my mind, my soul, everything, to bring myself back to human setting, because we have been, our ancestors, so many people before me have been on this kind of humanoid setting. Like, we left the original setting way back, and that's why we have a lot of diseases in our bodies. Me personally, I suffer from PKD, and in an effort to heal myself, I've decided to read the Bible again. I've decided to go back to original setting and understand and draw closer to the things that will heal me. So I'm not a theologist. I've never done theology, but I just need to be able to understand things personally for myself, to help myself and develop this kind of special relationship with God in order to move forward with life and leave every traumatic event in my life behind. I know how much I've suffered from all these things that have happened in my body. So we shall continue from day 4. The next time will come around. So God bless you and see you then.